Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another week of Grade 7 History. And this week we're talking about using reference resources to gather historical information, which sounds a lot more dry and boring than it actually is, I promise. What you need for this week is just a pencil and a piece of paper. And I want you to ask yourself these two questions. How are you feeling mentally? If you need to take a break, please do so. And are you in a space to be productive? And if you feel like you're not, go ahead and try to move somewhere where you feel like you can be productive. So for the warm-up, I'm going to read these two questions. After I'm done reading them, I want you to pause the video and you can write down your answers to these two questions. So the first question, what does the word research mean? And secondly, what is an encyclopedia? So go ahead and pause it in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so first one, what does the word research mean? Well, research is both a noun and a verb. It is the search for information about a given topic. So it's both the process of how you search for something and it's the result. So if you're talking about looking up mice, when you are searching and looking up information on mice, you are doing research. You are conducting research. In both of those processes, it's both the noun and it can also be a verb. And encyclopedia. An encyclopedia is an information source that contains information articles on a whole range of topics. These articles don't usually go into too much detail, but they give a nice overview of information. So if you're trying to become an expert on something, like let's say mice, you're not going to be able to become an expert from an encyclopedia article, but you can learn a fair bit from these articles. Traditionally, they used to be in alphabetized sets, so it would be a bunch of books from A to Z, and you would have to go to the M's to look for the article on mice. But almost now, all of them are searchable online databases, and we're going to talk about databases in a second. So by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to utilize Britannica School to conduct research on a 20th century person of your choosing and use the information given in the article to describe that person's life and accomplishments. And 20th century here means anybody whose major accomplishments were between the years 1900 and 1999. So the schedule, we're going to go through the words of the week. We're going to talk very briefly about encyclopedias in general. I'm going to walk you through how to use Britannica School, and then we're going to go over the weekly mission. So the words of the week are database and biography. Go ahead and pause the video when I count down and write these words down to get ready to write the definitions in a second. So go ahead and pause it and write the words down if you need to in 3, 2, 1. Okay, first one is database. Database is a structured set of data held in a computer, especially one that is accessible in various ways. So it is a lot of information about particular topics that is searchable. So go ahead and pause it if you need to write that definition down. Okay, next is biography. A biography is an account of someone's life written by somebody else. So I'm sure you've read biographies in your time in school. It's different from an autobiography because in an autobiography, an autobiography is an account of someone's life written by that person. So a biography is written by different people. Go ahead and pause it now if you need to write that definition down. Okay, so Britannica School. Britannica School is an online encyclopedia that I'm going to show you how to use in a second. It used to look like this. It used to be a whole set of books that would cost thousands of dollars that would be a whole range of topics from A to Z. Now it's all digitized and it's searchable. So Britannica is one of the oldest and most famous encyclopedias. And if you're using it as a resource for a project, you always know you can trust it because it's going to have accurate information. So let's look at Britannica School. When you first get to Britannica School, it's going to give you 3 options for the level of learning. Obviously, you were in 7th grade, so you're going to be clicking on middle school. So go ahead and click that button. Once you get here, it takes you to the homepage. And there's kind of a lot of information here, so it's important to be able to talk through what you're seeing. So right here are suggested articles, things that Britannica maybe think are interesting or that you might find interesting. The Explore Britannica over here, the tab shows you some of their different features, which are great to use. But most importantly, for most of your research projects, you're going to use the search tab. So you click in here, and when you type, it's just going to be like a Google search bar. You start typing in your topic. Now, Britannica is not as forgiving when you type in things here as Google is. It's not going to say, did you mean, or give you suggested other articles. So you need to make sure you're very precise in what you type in. So recommended articles. Okay, we're talking about the first president, so we're going to click on George Washington. Now, when you get here, there's a lot of things going on. So what I want you to do is I want you to write down 3 different things you see on here and what you think they mean. So what are the tabs showing? What do these words mean? What is this on the left? What do some of these different symbols mean? I just want you, what do these numbers mean? I want you to pick 3 of them, and I want you to write down what they are, what you think they are. That's really important to kind of practice. So go ahead and pause it in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're gonna move from left to right, and we're gonna talk about what each of these things mean so that when you have to use Britannica School, you kind of have a little bit of background. So starting up at the top, we have the article name. We're reading about George Washington. The article is in this first tab. It's white because it's what's selected. Let's click on images and videos. Here is a collection of all the pictures and the videos that Britannica has. You can tell the difference between a picture and a video. This is a video because of the little play button. If you click on related, it's going to give you a list of other articles that might have something to do with George Washington. So if you're talking about the government of the United States, you could click on government. If you're talking about something with Virginia, you could click on Virginia. And also cool over here is primary sources and ebooks. It's going to give you a list of primary sources in case you need those for a project, and links to other websites about George Washington. Now, if they're linked on Britannica, you know they're good to use because Britannica wouldn't link them if they weren't trustworthy. And the teacher tab is just for teachers. You don't have to worry about that. So as we go down, you have this right here. Hopefully you kind of identified this like the table of contents in a book. This article is really long, and you might not have to read everything about it. You might be focusing on just what George Washington did after he was president. So if you want to take a shortcut to that, you just click down there. That's why it's like the table of contents. It lets you kind of just jump ahead. These numbers are the reading level. 1 is elementary school and 3 is high school. Elementary school will have less information, but what will be easier to read. The high school level will have a lot more information, but will be more difficult to read. So feel free to change those based on what you need for your project. These symbols up at the top, send to, so you can add this to Google Classroom in case your teacher needs you to find something. You can favorite it if you create an account. You can print it. You can cite it. So if your teacher's requiring a citation, you can click the cite button, and Britannica will automatically give you the citation in the correct format. So you can just copy and paste that. You can translate it if need be, and you can have it read to you as well. Another cool feature from this is that if you double click on words, it'll give you the definition and the Spanish translation as well right there. Now, for your purposes, you're going to be focused on biographies. So remember, biographies are that account of someone's life written by another person. And Britannica has an amazing collection of biographies. So on Thursday, you're going to go into Britannica's biography collection. You're going to change the era to 1900 to present. And notice they have 7,868 different results. So you have that many different biographies to choose. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to use the skills you just figured out and dissect when you learn how to kind of use Britannica just now to analyze a biography. So that is going to be Thursday's mission. And I hope you guys have a great week.